What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this POV review by Autobahn. My name is Max, and today I'm taking you around the all-new 2024 Ford Mustang. And this is not just any Mustang, this is the new Dark Horse version, which is sort of a track-oriented version of the Mustang GT. It's not really a track car, it's more a street car they can also take to the track because it has a couple nice options. So I'm going to show you around it today. I'll show you the spec and then we'll take it for a drive towards the Autobahn for an Autobahn blast. The new Mustang is, well, we thought the last Mustang would be the last V8 manual Mustang ever. We've thought that with a couple cars in the past, but here it is. It is still glorious in all its simplicity and in, yeah, just a sort of an old-fashioned Mustang still, even though they have tried to, you know, bring it into 2024, and it's definitely more modern and it also looks a lot more modern, but still it has that old school muscle car feel, which I think is just brilliant. So let's have a look at the Mustang in general, and also of course the parts that you get on the Dark Horse, because this Dark Horse version is aimed at a bit of a younger audience, I think. And you also see that because you get all these Dark Horse logos, which is like a horse head from the front, but you still have the Mustang pony in the front, which is cool. You also get this blue amber color, which is very nice. I just love it in this sunlight, because when it's dark it's just a dark blue, but when the sun hits it you get this like purple pearlescent metallic flake in there, which is just amazing. I hope you guys can see that on the camera, but it just looks super nice. So at the front we've got much more like squinty narrow headlights compared to the previous Mustang with the triple DRL there. The Dark Horse also gets a specific front bumper, I guess, with this little splitter here as well. You also get the intakes on the side here, which looks super cool, and it's even has a little light in there. That's cool. And you get a black grille. You also get a black air extraction vent basically, and this is a Dark Horse decal on the bonnet. You also get Magnarite suspension adaptive as standard, which is really good. It's actually very nice. The difference between track and normal is very big. And you get these Dark Horse specific 19-inch wheels, 255 tires, Pirelli P0s. Behind that, 390mm brake discs with 6-pot Brembo calipers at the front, 4-pot at the rear. Brakes are really good. Braking performance is really good. The pedal is nice. So yeah, this is very good. And you get, I think this is part of some kind of package that you get this Brembo logo in grabber blue. Dark gray mirror caps, black roof. The Dark Horse also gets a side skirt that is a little bit lower, and at the rear you get a 275 tire. A Torsen limited slip diff as standard on the Dark Horse. You get black exhaust tailpipes, sports exhaust as standard. And well, again, I feel like it's kind of an evolution of the previous S550 Mustang. This is the S650, and if you it kind of looks similar, but also it kind of looks newer and more modern. Of course, especially the front end looks completely different, but sort of this part is kind of the same. I love this hip line here, and then this crease that runs across the rear. In the trunk here, I think that is a very cool look, with the tail lights that are also creased in the same way. Big trunk as well, of course, super practical car. I love the way it looks. I think it looks very handsome. All right, so let's take a look, because we have an evolution of the 5-liter Coyote engine here as well. This is a 453 horsepower version, 540 newton meters of torque, because this is an EU spec. So that means that we have an OPF, I think, and we also have a different exhaust. So the US version has around 500 horsepower, the Dark Horse, and we get 450, 453, and the regular Mustang GT has 446. So it's just a little bit extra, but you do get an additional oil cooler, you get a lightweight radiator, you get some cooling fins on the diff and stuff like that to get everything nice and cool if you do some track driving. 0 to 100, 5.2 seconds for the manual, 4.4 for the automatic. You can also have a 10-speed automatic, but this is a manual, thank God, because it is awesome. Also have a nice strut brace here, and in the US you also have a track package available which gives you adjustable camber, different wheels, different tires, stuff like that, but we don't get that here. Hey, what's up, buddy? So it kind of feels similar but not similar. It feels more polished, it feels more modern than before, but also it's very recognizable Mustang, and that goes for the interior as well, because this, like the bones of the car, both exterior and interior, the bones of the car are similar. So the dash shape and this part and this lower part here, this is very recognizable, but then they kind of covered it with a modern sauce, which is, I think, very successful. Now this of course is a very big change, a dual screen setup with a lot of animations and adjustability, configuration. It all works well, it looks good, I think. It can be a bit laggy sometimes, and some things just take a while to, you know, you can already see it. Sometimes it just takes a while. Go back to home. It's like 4 seconds. It's too long. You also have this Mustang button right here for the most important thing. So this is really quick. See, so the response to the screen itself is very good. It's just the software going between menus is a bit laggy, I think. But you've got your exhaust set up right there, so quiet, normal, sport and track, and then you can have some auxiliary gauges here, and you can choose which ones you want to see. You also have the track apps here, a timer, braking performance, lap timer, launch settings, so you can do the RPM for the launch control, the shift indicator, which is a little line on the rev counter there. Drift brake, which I'm going to show you, is very, very cool. So at Ford they said, since the introduction of the e-brake, handbrake turns and handbrake initiated drifts are a thing of the past, but they wanted to bring it back. So you still have an e-brake. This is basically an e-brake, so you pull it up to engage it and you push it down to disable it. But if you have this mode activated, then you can pull the steering wheel, and then yeah, it kind of locks the rear wheels, which is cool. Launch control, as I said, and rev matching, of course. New gear knob as well. This is blue anodized titanium, very nice. You have this woven trim, which kind of looks like carbon fiber, but it's not. But I do think it looks kind of good. And you get these amazing Recaro seats in indigo blue. I think this again is part of some kind of package, but this blue leather is super cool. And this, like, I don't know, a bit old school, retro bucket seat is amazing. And that same goes for the Speedo. Look at that. We have a digital Speedo, but you have this cluster theme you can choose, which is Fox Body 8793. They're also introducing a new one, I think the SVT Cobra 97, something like that, with an update. But you can it works so much better. It's just so clear, it's good to read, it looks beautiful at night when it just glows green. It looks a bit old school, but still, because the screen resolution is so high, it also looks modern, and it looks way better than anything like the modern things like this. I mean, immediately I'm like, what am I looking at? Where do I have to look? I don't like it. Normal is a little bit better. Yeah, that's better. But then this one is by far my favorite. I've had this on the entire time. Absolutely love that. Okay, steering wheel is nice as well, new with a flat bottom and the same carbon weave and a nice logo here. So yeah, I think this is a good upgrade. Neighbor, this is a good upgrade over the previous one. It definitely feels more luxurious, more modern. All the finishing is a lot better. The quality is quite high. I think this is quite a big step, to be fair. All right, so exhaust in track mode. yeah, it sounds so good. Oh, you just have such a nice V8 growl. I love it. So we're going to go into track mode. This also takes too long, by the way. So the switching of the driving modes, look at this. Sport, you get a different animation than track, but it just takes a bit too long for my liking. Anyway, traction control off. Okay, and then we go, oh, that was the right menu. We go to track apps, drift brake, enabled. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys how that works. Unfortunately, we don't have like a crazy drift corner or anything like that here. So I think I have to do sort of a little bit of a 180. So we'll do that over there. But listen to this. Just cruising, it's just so lovely, and the shift action is good, it's firm. You know, it's not the best manual gearbox out there, but you do get a Tremec 6-speed for the Dark Horse, which is a completely different gearbox compared to the regular Mustang GT manual. Okay, so I think this is like the safest way to show you guys. I can do like a little spin right here. So yeah, go back to first maybe, and then just pull the handbrake. See, so it lets you initiate a drift or a handbrake turn, a 180, which is very nice because it just means that you are very, you know, agile, and you can immediately turn the car around. Because even though 453 horsepower is very nice, it's not that much for an 1800 kilo car. It's quite grippy, you know, you don't have a turbo, so you need to rev it out to get the max power. So it's a very old school driving experience in general. I love that. This car is like an antidote to basically the whole car business's direction of the last few years. This feels like, you know, this feels like what we are missing. This is, Ford just hit the nail on the head. So you also have flat foot shifting, which I'm not sure if that is, I think you have that in every GT, but not 100% sure this is Dark Horse specific. But if I just floor it, okay, keep my foot pinned and then shift, which definitely saves a bit of time. And as I said, you also have launch control. So if we select drag strip mode, it loosens up the rear dampers, so it softens the rear dampers, so you have a bit of squat. And then the launch control has been set to 5800 RPM, so just floor it, release the clutch, and then the traction control sorts it out. And then you have the flat foot shift, so you can actually, you know, you can get off the line pretty quickly, and especially when you have hot tires. Yeah, I think the horses are there, but we can check. Especially if you have hot tires, you can do the factory claim. Oh, come on. Factory claim 5.2 seconds. I think I did 5.19. Driving wise, it is really nice. It feels solid, it feels comfortable if you want it to be comfortable. It never is like really sharp. The steering is also a bit weird. You have a button right there to change the feel, but I can't change it in track mode. So if I go to sport mode, can I change it then? No, can only change it in normal, or what? Normal, comfort, sport. Yeah. Okay, so this is normal, comfort. So I think I would prefer, again, I would prefer comfort, because In sport mode, it's a bit weird. It's kind of dead round the center, and then when you turn in, suddenly you have the turn in, which feels a bit strange. But yeah, let's go back to track. There's a lot to figure out with this car. As I said, there's a lot of configurability. There's a lot of things you can change and set up. See, you really need to like try to upset it to get it to go sideways. That's why the handbrake is such a good idea. Yeah, this is it. This is what you need to drive if you're fed up with today's car culture, or of new cars at least. This is the antidote. It is so freaking good. It also feels like they just thought, okay, we have a very good Mustang GT. You know, let's just start with that base and then see how we can improve it. It's definitely, you know, the gearbox, for example, is much better to shift than the previous Mustang GT, which was just not that great. I mean, amazing that it was there, but you know, objectively speaking, it was not great. The engine feels a little bit more sophisticated. The suspension with the Magna feels good. It's like they left off at the Mach 1 or the Bullet of the last generation, right? And then just continued from there. So, onto the Autobahn. Woo! He was going faster than I thought. Nice going with the Renault. Okay, here we go. Flat foot shift. So the shifts with the flat foot shift are actually, they're quite quick, and you also lose a bit less momentum doing that. At least that is until you hit 6th gear, because it is like a crazy overdrive. So let me show you. 5th to 6th, 5 to 6, and it just dies. It's crazy. The top speed is supposed to be 263. I don't think I've been able to get past 257 GPS, but that's also down to that 6th gear. It's just so crazy. 100 to 200, I think I did 1077. Oh, it just lies down. No, no, I don't want to. They've really been able to get this car closer to some of the European competition, and they maintain their edge, their advantage, which is that V8 and that manual gearbox. It turns every drive into a party. It really does. It doesn't matter where you're going, it's fun. And still, I mean, you lose a bit of horsepower compared to the US version, but I still think it sounds good with this EU regulation nonsense on it. It still sounds like a proper V8. Huh. Man, oh man. I've loved Mustangs, as you guys know, ever since, you know, I don't know, 2016 when we drove the first one. I was just completely sold. And yeah, this is just an improvement of the same recipe, and it's very, very good. It's just very good. I hope that more people will decide to get, you know, a Mustang, because it's just so much fun. Also, the Mustang GTD, which is like a Porsche 911 GT3 RS competitor, is coming, and that thing is absolutely mental as well. So Ford is doing well. Good job, Ford. I love it. So to you guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. You can subscribe by clicking the big button in the middle. You can also check out this video on the right or this playlist on the left. See you the next one. Bye.